All right, folks. I know we've been here before, but let me quickly remind some of the folks that joined the movement or get into AMC on this recent drop about the three things I can see will push the share price to maybe a new high, maybe the triple digits finally that we are really expecting to see this year. All right. And I'm going to try to be quick because these are just a reminder for pretty much all of you guys who have been following me for the last 2 years. So first of all, this is more from a fundamental standpoint. So coming from the business of the company, the attendance levels, the number of people and the number of box office big numbers that are in the pipeline for this coming week. For this coming year. Already, Doctor Strange is showing signs of very solid numbers when it comes to revenue. On top of that, Top Gun 2, which is not even in theaters yet, but in terms of the projections, they are also looking really solid. And remember, this is going to be one of the, if not the first summer, the first Thanksgiving, the first Christmas that people spent without any COVID restrictions. Like literally. So hopefully if things remain the case it is, which I can't guarantee, but just never, this is going to be a really interesting time to see how people kind of go back to what they used to, especially after being not 100% free to do whenever they wanted to do in terms of entertainment, social life, gathering, etc. So I'm expecting the numbers when it comes to the money AMC is going to do, because whether you want to believe it or no, it's going to attract additional investors. Have you known that the biggest pension fund in America, has dumped Netflix in order to buy AMC? And since they've done that, they haven't sold yet. So we're talking about a pension fund which manages money, retirement money for people like firefighters, policemen, and other hard worker companies. This is not the type of money you use to kind of gamble. And this is a $440 billion fund. So they will not gamble the amount of money they put into AMC just to, have fun. No, it's because surely after doing some study analysis, they figured there might be something here to actually make a lot of money for the people we are managing the money from. All right, so that's number one. Number two, June is coming, and maybe for not the reason you may have in mind, but I'm looking forward to June is around the stock split with the dividend paying from GameStop. It's not done yet, but I wouldn't expect the stockholders or the shareholders to say no to more money, because dividend, it's more money on a passive form, and which is good, especially in this high inflation environment. So when that happens, it's pretty technically and logically, if things are done right, to be the end of the shenanigans. Why? Because in order to pay a dividend, you need to do that on real shares. And anybody out there still lending shares will have to call back those shares. So causing a forced recall of those real shares will create a huge pressure in terms of like sucking air out of the environment of the short sellers, and they will have to suffocate because they will have to buy back those shares at such a huge pace, such a quick pace, that I wouldn't be surprised if we shoot up to a new high, which could be like the nail on the coffin of this whole situation, right? And then from there, nobody knows. So that's number two. And then finally, number three, which kind of goes back to this, but inflation. Yeah, inflation. In the last 20 years, people don't really realize this, folks, but it's mind-blowing. For the last 20 years, the market has always operated into low interest rate environments. That's why some of the tech stocks have done like literally shoot up to the moon, because it was easy to borrow money. And that's why also in the last 20 years, the hedge fund business have been booming. But since COVID came. Some of them took bad bets. Some of them are losing clients. Some of them closed doors, reopened with a new business, and then were forced to close door again because they were still losing a ton of money. So right now they're bleeding. So either they change course, they switch strategies, they do something else, because remember, they are not unlimited in the amount of money they can run, because that money they run is the money that are coming from the clients. And the performance is so bad right now that it's either I take my money and I put it in an index fund and I will still beat you guys at what you do. So why would I stay with you? You kind of see the picture there, right? So now that the Federal Reserve, it's really, really aggressive and hawkish, like a hawk coming to hunt down, its next meal. The Federal Reserve is committed to do whatever it will take, not my words, Jerome Powell words, whatever it will take to bring inflation down. And that means maybe breaking down the stock market by increasing interest rates. Maybe not breaking the economy, because those are kind of two different things. But the bottom line is, in the mix of all that, I barely see a short selling business to continue to thrive, because money is going to be a lot more expensive. And the shock of that will also shock the system, which for the last 20 years, they have been operating in a total different environment. So when I combine these three, I can wonder, but also see that, I don't see any way out of it. I don't see any easy way out. All right. But also keep in mind that we have a lot more people that join the movement. So the cake might be a little bit reduced, just to keep in mind when it comes to the target you want to set onto when you're going to exit the whole craziness, because it's going to be crazy when we move $100 one day to another. So depending on your size position, will you be able to handle that? But I have a bonus for you folks. There is another reason that I didn't want to discuss in this video because of time, but I'm prepping this to do just a standalone video. It's going to be really mind-blowing, because when you look at that, it may be pointing to the very date, not the very date, but the month to where we can expect the market to, the short squeeze to actually be on the go. Like literally they will be prepping and be ready for this to go to whatever the moon price is. But we're going to talk about it in a separate video because it will make more sense.